Yeah. Make a motion to go into.
I made a motion to go into document open.
Second? Do we have, Matthew, thank you. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Now we'll go to public participation. Please have a full name written on their profile. Raise a hand on the icon on the Zoom. Wait to be called by the board secretary. Once called, please put your video on, unmute your audio. It's on agenda items only. Thank you.
There's no hands. There are no hands, President.
For agenda items, we have no. Mrs. Cowles, you said there's no raised hands?
We just received one, Matthew Eggleton. Please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Matthew Eggleton. I live at 730 Galloping Hill Road. I'm assuming that this is part of agenda items because you're rereading the return policy. So I'm in the wrong place. I apologize in advance. Let me just start by saying that I very much appreciate all the work that everybody in the district has done to get the school buildings ready for the return, and all the teachers with all the prep they've done. I know it's been incredibly hard work moving all of the content to an online format to deliver it that way, and I know how much trouble it's been, and I want to let everyone know how much we appreciate that. First, a couple of comments. Our youngest son is in an LLD classroom at Sherman, and my wife and I have spoken with Mrs. Marmello and Principal Lechner and our case manager. But I just want to also speak publicly and directly to the Board of Education because it's incumbent on us as parents to ensure the needs of students who have extreme difficulty with virtual learning like William are met. We truly feel that William and other children who are already behind their neurotypical peers are at most risk for regression, should be afforded access to an equitable as opposed to equal education during the pandemic. As I'm sure you're all aware, there were successful in-person ESY programs conducted here in New Jersey this summer. Other districts with larger special needs student populations are starting those students out in person. We've been told, and we believe that bringing special needs population back for face-to-face instruction is a priority, and it'll happen as soon as possible. The data already bears out that small group in-person instruction is possible and safe. It's our understanding that the classrooms are ready. We've seen your photos and all the hard work that's been done. William's teacher is ready. So my questions are, what are the barriers that are preventing the district from starting the most at-risk students in person, and what specific thresholds exactly need to be met in order for the district to shift these students to from remote to face-to-face learning?
Mr. Egerton, thank you so much for your comments. You're absolutely right. Our staff has worked extremely hard to prepare for reopening, although it's remote. I don't know if you were at the meeting 2 weeks ago when I gave my presentation. My priority and my goal is to return and face in our neediest students 1st. We wanted to start remote fully, just to obviously give some time, or a short time, to make sure that everyone is it's here, all the barriers, as you mentioned, because you don't know what the barriers are going to be until you come in. So we wanted to make sure, and you're right, the staff is ready to return. My goal is to bring the self-contained classes as soon as possible I'm hoping within a couple of weeks or so. So we will be next week. My goal is to start meeting with staff, to start planning, to start preparing more so everyone feels safe. The staff and the students, and when we have everything, we want to be 100%, not 80%, not 70%, not in the classroom. So we're going to take a look at ventilation. We're going to take a look at spacing. We're going to take a look at some of the other barriers in the buildings and things like that carefully next week when all the staff is in, to make sure that we're meeting everything. But I truly agree with you regarding our most neediest students coming in to in-person instruction. I couldn't agree with you more.
So it sounds like it's mostly about having the full staff back, actually being in the buildings and taking a look around, more than about data from the government or other metrics that you're looking at. It's more about having the staff there and making sure that you're fully running and
yeah, we're looking at everything, obviously, and we'll take everything into consideration. The data is it's as you know, it's improving here in the state of New Jersey, and we are looking at everything right now. But we want to be 100% certain that our students and staff safety, health and safety, is our number one priority. But I can tell you that my goal is to return our neediest students as soon as possible, and we'll give you that information hopefully within a week or so.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I look forward to it.
And thank you once again for your comments.
Ms. Callis, are any?
No other hands? I have a hand from Miss Francesca Hunt. Please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, how are you? My name is Francesca Hunt. I live at 620 Larch Street. My question also has to do with the recovery plan, but regards into instruction with support personnel. So I wanted to know, how will the paras be utilized effectively during remote learning, especially one-on-one paras? I understand that they will be in attendance to the Zoom meetings that the teachers will hold as far as whole class and small group instruction. But beyond that, will they have office hours to be available for their one-on-one students like the teachers will be available? How will the paras, how will parents have readily accessible access to the paras? Because it seems like you have to go through the classroom teacher if you wanted to get in touch with the para. But what if the teacher's unavailable and they're in their own small group meeting with another group of students and your child is having issues with an assignment or has questions? How will that one-on-one para provide support during remote learning, and how will they be accessible?
Ms. Hunt, thank you for your questions. I would suggest that you call Mrs. Marmello, who is a Director of Special Services. She has a plan in place for both her special education staff, including our paras, and she can give you more specific information in detail on how the paras are being utilized. Please call in. If you for any reason you cannot contact, please contact me, and I'll be more than happy to make sure that happens.
Okay, I did reach out to a case manager. I didn't hear anything back. That's why I was going to ask directly.
I would certainly, yeah, please reach out to Ms. Marmello first.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more hands, Mrs. Callis?
I don't see any other hands.
Okay, let's move to the committee reports. Do we have any committee reports? Anybody have any committee reports? Mr. Hemingway?
Mr. President, right. Shortly before this meeting, we had a technology committee meeting. You'll see in our agendas today a couple of things. One, you'll see a new plan for fiber optics, new capital project. We're going to, obviously because of virtual learning and virtual instruction, priorities change. So we're going to move some money from some other capital projects to this fiber optic project in order to bolster our system. Basically, right now, in the most layman term possible, which I asked for, believe me, we've got a bottleneck of basically 4 streets, our schools, into one. And obviously with the way that we'll be teaching the kids this year with the streaming and the virtual learning and the streaming video, that could cause a bit of a problem. In the very short term, we're going to solve that problem with some staggered schedule. So not every teacher's on the highway at the same time, causing traffic. But in the longer term with this project, we're going to widen that highway. So there's going to be many, many more lanes of this project and of this highway with this fiber optics, and we shouldn't have any problems. It's something that's always been in the pipeline, but again, because of the change in priorities, it moved up the list pretty fast. Again, this is an investment, obviously, for the kids, so we can get through the way that we're educating them now. It should be done by the by the fall. It's pretty fast moving once all the approvals are in. One of those, again, is something else that's on your agenda for today, and that's consent from the borough to use a bit of their, I guess, utility poles. There is basically a fire lane right of way on those poles, and I don't think it should be a problem, but it's something we have to ask the borough for, and that's where they're going to lay the fiber optic wire. So just to give you a little bit of a an update on that. Once we get this, we should be set for the next 15-20 years, and we're able to upgrade a lot easier than we do now. It's hard to upgrade a 4-lane highway. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, if I may.
Thank you, nicely said. Any other committee, Matthew Langang?
Thank you. I was able to observe the principal meetings that were conducted with all the parents on Zoom last week. I went to I observed the high school one on, I think it was Tuesday night last week, and then the elementary school ones were Wednesday night. I went to the Robert Gordon meeting, and then on Thursday, the middle school meeting happened. Mrs. Goyce gave that meeting twice. She gave it again on Friday in Spanish. So they all get kudos for those meetings because they all did a fantastic job. And I think Mrs. Goyce doubled the kudos because she did it in a second language. 3 C's I remember coming out of those meetings. Consistency, I was really impressed that all the teachers, all the classes are going to be using Google Classroom. And so parents and students don't have to learn like 2 or 3 different platforms. It's all in one place. Communication, everything's being sent out through multiple channels. And finally, I was just really calmed down. As the parent of one of these students, I feel a lot calmer going into this opening of a virtual school. I mean, this is going to be definitely a lot different than last fall, but it's also a lot different from last spring when everyone just scattered and did whatever they could. There's a plan in place, and I was really impressed with what I saw. And that's my report.
Thank you, Ms. Lang. I did listen to 2.5 of them also, and they seem very consistent. And I listened to my old alma mater, Robert Gordon, in high school and middle school. So thank you. Any more committee reports? If not, we'll move on to the superintendent's report. Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you, President Signorella. Good evening, everyone. And I'd like to start, first of all, by thanking the parents that are out there and all the parents in our community. Thank them for their patience, their support. This is not, hasn't been very easy for anyone, but especially for our parents. 2 weeks ago, I gave a very lengthy presentation on our reopening plans, which, as you know, they changed from our original plan for having a hybrid type of model to an all remote to begin the school year. That decision was very carefully and thoughtful, and always we outside and with caution, and for the health and safety of our students and our staff. Last week, as Mr. Langang mentioned, our principals did an amazing job, and I want to thank him and congratulate him for being very insightful, very precise, and detailed with their presentation. I think it did calm a lot of nerves down. We've come a long way from the spring, and you're going to see a much different virtual instruction with a lot more rigor, and we strengthen a lot of our situation, some of the issues and concerns that we had back in the spring. But our ultimate goal, and as I mentioned to Mr. Eganton, is to return our students and return especially our most neediest and vulnerable students that really need that face-to-face and in-person instruction. And my job, beginning next week, is to start plans to return students, face-in students, very shortly and quickly, and hopefully have a full hybrid for all our students as soon as possible. Tomorrow is our first day for staff. We have 2 days of full day training in PD using Google Classrooms, the different platforms and models for teaching virtually. So our staff will be here. We already have made, all our building principals have made all kinds of, created all kinds of procedures to maintain safety and health for all of our staff. And we're ready. We're ready to go. We're ready to welcome our staff. I recorded a message for the staff for tomorrow morning. Actually, tomorrow morning will be the day that I meet right here in the high school cafeteria with the entire staff. So this year, obviously, it's going to be much different. Next Tuesday is our first day for students and our remote learning. And all week of next week will be instruction. However, there would be no office time for the staff. We're going to use that to continue to train our staff and to work on their Google Classroom, and also work on the Zoom and pre-recorded lessons that they're going to need for the following days or weeks after that. Again, our goal is to reopen as long as the health and safety of our students and staff the data provides that, the solutions to that part. Tomorrow, I will be sending home a welcome back letter. Please make sure that you take some time to read it. Our new visitors or updated visitors policy that the board is going to fully approve tonight will be there. It's changed. We want to make sure, again, we keep our students and staff healthy. There'll also be information on our meals distribution, our laptops or Chromebook distribution. There'll be information on what to expect from the district and so forth. So please take a few minutes to read it. It will be a welcome back letter. It will be emailed to all parents and all community members as well. With that, I think I'm done for tonight. However, you'll be hearing from me regularly through our remote, and then as we return to hopefully some normalcy in our school buildings. We're all looking forward to seeing our students again in our building. We need to, they need it more than anyone else, so we certainly would like to see that. With that said, again, once again, I want to thank everyone who has been working so hard over the summer to have the plan that we have in place, and I think I know it's a very good one to start the school year and then to continue from that point on. So thank you very much, and we'll see you all soon. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Guido. Now we'll move into the regular agenda. Then we'll go to policy. Number 1, district policies, second reading. District policies and adoption. Do we ever like to get a motion to approval of the
Make a motion.
second? Roll call, please.
Vice President Langen.
Yes.
Ms. Carlstrom.
Yes.
Ms. Falcon. Mr. Fernandez. Mr. Harms. Mr. Hemingway.
Yes.
Ms. McLeod Cato.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
And President Signorella.
Yes.
Motion carries.
We'll go to personnel and addendum. Staff resignation, change of assignment, transfer, change of assignments and transfers, staff appointments, leave of absence. 6 is resignation. 7 is district substitutes. 8, professional development virtual staff. 9, participation of coaching for the virtual exemplars. Need a motion to approve this?
Make a motion.
Second? You have a second? Oh, I'm sorry. Roll call, please.
Can we discuss that for a second, please? I just have a question on 9. Could you explain that a little bit more, Mr. Garrido or Mrs. Callis? Yeah,
Mr.
preparation and coaching for virtual exemplars.
Good practice.
Okay.
Actually, Mr. Miller, I don't know if you received, Mr. Saville sent a curriculum committee copy of those exemplars. These are best practices. This is what happens in the virtual instruction.
Gotcha.
To prepare the teachers to use best practices in virtual instruction. But please look at the email that was sent by Mr. Saville today. I know he sent it out to the staff, and he also sent it out to the curriculum committee. It's quite a bit of information and really good things that will help our staff become better prepared for virtual instruction.
Good, thank you.
Vice President Langen.
Yes.
Ms. Carlstrom.
Yes.
Ms. Falcon. Mr. Fernandez. Mr. Harms. Mr. Hemingway.
Yes.
Ms. McLeod Cato.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
And President Signorella.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Excuse me. We have education, is number 10, high school, middle school athletics schedules. Second? Okay, I didn't hear you. Roll call, please.
Vice President Langang,
Yes.
Ms. Carlstrom,
Yes.
Ms. Falcon, Mr. Fernandez, Mr. Harms, Mr. Hemingway,
Yes.
Ms. McLeod Cato,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
and President Signorello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, now we're on to business. Number 3, so we're going to the addendum, a settlement agreement. And we'll go to 11, approval of bills. Excuse me, approval of minutes. Use of buildings and grounds. And consent request from the Borough of Rosa Park for fiber optic cabling on borough's portion on the utility poles. 15 is stale check cancellation. 16, Union County Cares subword agreement. 17, authorization of transfer funds between capital projects. Make a motion to approve these in business?
Make a motion. Second.
Second. Roll call?
Vice President Langang,
Yes.
Ms. Carlstrom,
Yes.
Ms. Falcon, Mr. Fernandez, Mr. Harms, Mr. Hemingway,
Yes.
Ms. McLeod Cato,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
President Signorello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Do we have any new business on the board tonight? We have a new business. Thank you. So now we'll go into public participation. Just a little reminder, we'll have 3 minutes, please. If you raise your hand or you get on Zoom, 3 minutes to state what you need to say, questions, and then the subject matter or the principal superintendent can answer your questions. So we have any, Ms. Callis, we have any public participation? Have a full names written on their profile, raise their hand icon on the Zoom, wait to be called by the board secretary. Once called, please put video on and unmute your audio.
I don't see any hands, President Signorello.
Okay. So I may have a motion for adjournment.
Second.
On favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Next meeting? Oh, September 15th. Yeah. Got it.